My name is Denis. I'm a physiotherapist. Today we're going to take care of your hip, especially if you have arthritis. We're going to do very good exercises, and remember, none of them should be painful. If they are, please don't do them and see a physiotherapist. Now, let's do these exercises together, step by step. Okay, so we're going to start with the first exercise. You're going to stand on one foot and you're going to move the other leg forward and backward. You can put your hand on a chair on the wall. This is not a balance exercise, even though you will use a little bit of balance to do this exercise. And you can also do it like this, each hand on the opposite shoulder. And while you're standing on, let's say, the left foot, you're going to work on these muscles in your hip, around your knee, and the other side is also going to work. You're going to work on the mobility on the other side. So each side is working on your hip differently. Sometimes arthritis could reduce your mobility, your strength, and your balance. So this exercise is very good to improve your physical condition. Of course, if your hip is swollen, maybe it's not the good time to do this exercise. Okay, so now let's do it on the other side. Of course, it's exactly the same movement. And if you can put one hand on the opposite shoulder. It's going to be much more difficult, and on the side that you're standing on, you'll be working a little bit harder with your muscle around your hip. These muscles stabilize your hip. They're very important. This is not an easy exercise. You'll have to adapt it to your own physical condition, and don't be afraid to put your hand on the chair or on the wall. The exercise will be useful, and you're going to work on your muscles, on your mobility around your hip, but not only your hips. And if you can, you just try to do it without touching the chair, and it's also going to work on your balance. Okay, you'll have to lie on your side for the next exercise, and we're going to work on your mobility but stretching your hip, and we're going to do a hip extension. And you keep that position for about 60 seconds. You could take a little break and do it again. And you don't have to bend your knee as much as I'm doing it right now. If you can, you do it, but if you can't, that's all right. You could also use a towel to hold your ankle instead of using your hand if you can't bend your knee enough. And you breathe normally while you're doing this exercise. And we're going to switch sides, so we're going to do the exact same exercise on the other side. So you're going to bend your knee and you're going to do a hip extension. You don't have to replicate exactly what I'm doing. Adapt the exercise to your physical condition. You could also do this exercise while you're standing up. It's much more easier to do it lying on your side. And we'll continue to do this exercise for a total of 60 seconds. If you notice that your mobility is reduced compared to yesterday and you have arthritis, maybe it's a good idea not to push too much on this exercise, and you see tomorrow how it goes, and maybe you'll be able to do it differently. We worked on your mobility. Let's work on your strength. You're going to do the bridge exercise, lifting your arms up. And you could do this exercise on one foot or on both feet. And maybe you won't have enough strength to do it on one foot, so you just do this exercise on both feet. And it's important to lift your arms up, so it's going to work a little bit more on your balance, and your hip muscles have to work a little bit more if your arms are up. Otherwise, you will work with the muscles inside your arms. And that's not what we want. We want to work on the hip muscles. Next time you'll do this exercise, you could keep the position for about 10, 20, or 30 seconds. And the next day, you could just go up and down. So it's going to work differently on your muscles. So that's a good idea to do it one day out of two differently. Okay, so let's continue working on your muscles, helping yourself with a chair. You're going to kneel, or halfway kneeling, and try to keep your back straight. So your shoulders, your head, and your hip should be well aligned during the exercise. You could stay also in the kneeling position for a few seconds. It's going to work a little bit more on your muscles. And we're going to continue doing this exercise for a total of 60 seconds. Okay, so now it's time to work on your hip extension. You're going to stand pretty tall and you're going to move your leg backward. You could hold it in that position for maybe a few seconds. And you alternate between your right side and your left side. You could put one hand on the chair or no hand on the chair if you can, but be sure that your back stays straight. You don't have to move forward, because if you move your trunk forward, that probably means that you're not moving your hip properly. And we're going to do this exercise for a total of 60 seconds. And the next exercise will also work on your hip extension, but we will be doing it in a different position on all fours. When you do the movement, be sure not to move your lower back, or try not to move it a lot, because we want the movement to come from your hip, not from your lower back. So your head and your shoulders and your hip should be always well aligned. When you lift up your leg, try to keep your knee bent around 90 degrees. You also could keep your leg up for a few seconds, but then again, without moving your lower back, or as less as possible. Sometimes with arthritis, your mobility will be reduced, so just adapt the exercise to your own physical capacity. So it's a good idea to finish that session with a good stretch. Lying on your back, you're going to bring your knees on your stomach, and you're going to keep that position for a few seconds. You'll take a break, put your feet on the floor, and do it again for a total of 60 seconds. Be sure to breathe normally while you're doing this exercise. And try to relax as much as you can. You could close your eyes. You also could do this exercise one side at a time. I really hope you feel better. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up, write me a comment, share it on your social media, and ask me your question. I will answer them in new videos. So take care of yourself and see you soon.